This is the plaintiff, Arnita Stokes. She says she rented a room from the defendant and only lived in it for a week or two. Things didn't work out between them, and when she moved out, the defendant refused to give her back her unused rent or security deposit. Guy's acting like a big jerk, and that's why she's suing him here and now for the $700 she's owed. This is the defendant, Robert Medina. He says the plaintiff seemed very trustworthy when he met her, but things changed quickly. The woman tried sneaking her granddaughter into the room to live with her, and it became uncomfortable for everyone. The plaintiff ended up leaving after 15 days. She wasted his time, lied to him, and is owed nothing. He's accused of rotten renting. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $600 for the security he returned.
All parties, please raise your right hands. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome,
Arnita Stokes, you are suing Robert Medina, your former landlord, for $700 that you say he still owes you for returned rent and moving expenses. You are counterclaiming against her $600 for a security deposit. What happened between you two?
Okay, I was looking for a place on Craigslist, and I found his ad, and I went to meet him. And on March 17th, on that day, he told me that the rent was $600 a month and $600 security. And this was March 17th. And if I paid him on that day, I wouldn't have to pay the rest of March. We would start the next month's rent from April until
You mean
May.
from May, right? Because if you're moving in March and you're paying first month's rent and it's going to count for April.
I'm sorry.
And then the security deposit, you mean I wouldn't have to pay again until May 1st,
That's
right?
correct.
Is that the agreement? What was the agreement?
My agreement was to Arnita Stokes is I would give her a few days extra. I think it's like 10 days or 15 days. I don't have the
time in
exact
March.
dates. Right.
Right.
As
So
a
then the
courtesy.
first month's rent would start being used up from April 1st.
No.
Okay, that is what you just said. So if it's different, explain.
It's not that it's different. It's just that the amount of time that she's saying from the time it just says you can move in, let it start.
When was it going to start from? First month's rent was going to start from when?
Well, let's just say April. Might as well.
Well, why don't we just say what your version is? Why don't we just say the truth? What is the truth?
That is the truth, I guess.
Well,
so.
then okay, so then it starts, so that first month's rent was going to be used
Yeah,
up
it's
in
a
April.
courtesy. You're right. Yes.
Right,
yes,
right, okay.
Yes.
So that first month's rent was going to be in April. The other $600 was security deposit, and then the next time you'd pay rent would be May 1st.
Right.
Okay, and then what happens?
On the 17th, I paid him $1,200 cash. On the 23rd, I came with my clothes to move in. He had two other people sleeping in the living room at that time who he said were going to leave in a few days. So I said, okay, and I spent the night. And then the next day I left and I stayed gone for about 3 or 4 days. And then I came back and those people left the next day.
Okay.
So I wasn't there for the entire time. That was my point, actually.
Okay, so what day did you actually move in?
I would say the 23rd, about the 26th or the 27th.
Okay, and then what happens?
On April 1st, I broke my arm. So
How'd you break your arm?
I was coming out of a store and I fell.
Okay.
And I broke my arm in 2 places, in the humerus, 2 places, and in the ulna in 1 place. I have those papers. And so my granddaughter came over to help me because I couldn't get in and out of the shower. It was my left arm. I am right-handed, but
Did you have a cast?
I did. I had a cast.
Is this your granddaughter?
No.
No, that's your daughter.
In-law.
In-law. Okay, your granddaughter's how old's your granddaughter?
She's 19.
Okay.
So she came over to help me because I only had 1 arm. So he tells...
Was she staying with you?
No, she stayed 1 night.
Okay.
The next morning, which was April 3rd, because I left on April 4th. The next morning he says, oh, I told you no one could move in here. I said, she's not moving in. She just came to help me because I broke my arm. And he says, and anyway, Jamie and I, that's his daughter, he says, discussed it. And she makes Jamie uncomfortable. So we decided, Jamie and I, that you need to move. You need to leave. So I said, you know what? No problem. I said, because any place where my granddaughter is not welcome, I don't need to be. He said, fine, give me my keys. Took his keys, did not allow me to have anyone come and help me to get my things. He said, I'll pack your things. You just leave.
But that's not, you have a right as a tenant to not have him do that.
He packed my things.
Well,
He
I
threw
know,
my
but you
things in
have
the
a right
shower.
to say no. You're
Well-
giving me my notice. I have 30 days from the time you give me my notice. I mean, I know you don't want to be there, but.
Right. I had one arm. His language and his attitude
And
said,
he's tall.
Yeah, said, Nita, just go.
Okay.
You don't need this. Just leave. And that's what I did on April 4th.
Okay.
And so
So what are you suing for? Because he gave you back some money, right?
he did.
What did he give you?
Okay, he gave me $600.
That's it?
And he gave me $600 on April 6th, which is a Saturday when I came to get my things. And I don't have the date. Maybe he still has his receipt that he gave me $240. And that's what he gave me. And I also gave him $200 during the time that I was there for a personal loan that he borrowed.
You've
Yes,
been
he
there
did.
like 20 minutes? and
Yes, yes.
What was a personal loan for? What was the emergency?
I don't know.
He didn't tell you?
No.
Okay. What's going on, Mr. Medina?
During the time of March, my daughter and I decided to rent one of our rooms from our 3-room and bedroom apartment. We put an ad on Craigslist. Arnita Stokes replied to the ad. She'll sit over the phone. I'm black. Is that okay? So look, I'm not
I'm
even
black? Is
asking
that okay?
Yeah, she's telling me that on
Did
the
you
phone.
seriously say that over the
No.
phone?
She did say that. So I said, just come over. She came over. She was very nice. She was very presentable. And she was, trustworthy.
What does that even mean? She was very presentable.
I'm just saying that she mentioned that to me. So if that comes up later or whatever, this was her words on the phone.
Okay,
I'm coming
what-
from the Bronx, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
I said, no problem. Just let me meet you. We'll go from there with my daughter and I and see
How
if
old's
you're
your
right.
daughter?
She's 13.
Okay.
Arnita Stokes was very kind. Even when she got there, she's there more than 2 weeks before she even decided to give my daughter a loan towards some book supplies that she needed for her art supplies. She's an artist. Beside that,
Yeah, but who
when
told
she
her
got
I need
there, I wanna go
$200?
to
Did you
her
ask her
lives.
for $200?
My daughter did, as
school
an
supplies?
advance towards her
Your daughter's
following months.
13. So did you ask
She asked me to ask her.
to ask her
right,
for
exactly,
$200 as an
right.
advance? So you were falling on some hard times, right? about there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. So did she really break her arm?
Oh, I'm glad we're going there.
Yeah, let's
this
go
is
there.
the greatest
So she
thing
has
to
a
happen.
cast on her arm.
No, she's in a sling. She calls me from the emergency room saying that she slipped in White Castles.
Okay.
When I get there, okay, no problem. I help her out, the gentleman, bring her home. And before she slipped in White Castles, which is 2 weeks after she was there, her granddaughter already slept in the apartment. She's already been sleeping over. She says, I'm just going to have a guest.
How many times did her granddaughter sleep there?
It's got to be more than 5 times. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Okay, here. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do here. Okay, 1 second. After she supposedly breaks her arm and she gets counsel, now I need my granddaughter to stay with me because I have nobody to help me. When I mentioned to her about, okay, like this is getting out of hand. She's here every day. You're not even asking for permission anymore. The bathroom is a total wreck. Her and her daughter decides to do the march. Jump, the much soldiers. Walking out of there. We don't know you no more. Throw the coats over her arm. They're gone for 2 days. Vanish, out of sight, out of mind. Call me up saying, well, you better have my stuff ready. Outside, out my door, ready, packed up. Put it back in the van, arrange the van. I'm sorry for raising my voice, and that's the way we want it. And have my money here, or else such and such and such and such, or you'll get this, and that, and that.
What's the this, and that, and that?
Well, trying to tell me that somebody's going to come and hurt me in that sense. That's what I'm trying to say. So I didn't pay that
What
no
were her
mind.
words?
Well, they just like real subtle, so I just can't bring it word for word. But, so I comply to what she's saying. And I have her stuff ready. She does not return the keys. I did not give her $600. I gave her $1,100.
Do you have proof of what you gave her?
I got her receipt right here that she gave it to me outside.
Can I have that?
Right? And I have a written statement from my daughter that was a witness with her friend as she's holding the $1,100 bills like this in her hand. And I decided to give her another $250
Did you have a
at the
lease?
train.
Did you have a lease,
No.
a written lease? Okay.
No, but I have our agreement here and I have his signature here on the papers.
There's a receipt here that purports to be signed by you that says that he gave you $1,100.
Well, here's my signature. I don't know what that is.
Well, let's see.
Okay. This is my signature.
Let's trade papers.
And this is my signature again with his signature giving me $600 on the 6th, on the Saturday, the day that I moved out.
Did you sign this?
No.
You already saw it?
No, but I know I didn't sign it because he never gave me $1,100. And I have text here admitting to what he owes me, where he texts me.
Well, hand
if
those
you'd
over.
like to see that.
Hand those over. But first, I want you to look at that.
Well, as you can see, that's not my signature.
No, it doesn't look like your signature. In fact,
Rachel
it's the
also see
opposite
that.
A. Some people do an A like this, and
not
some
my-
people do an A like that, and it's the wrong A.
Well, she was there with another person, and she flipped that over her shoulder. That to me that day.
That's not my signature.
Yeah, she says
please.
you're forging this. That what you gave
Yeah.
her was a 600.
He knows that's not my signature. You're going to see the text where he
I
says what
see
he
all the
owes
other
me.
places where your signature is. Your A is the different type of A. It's not
Thank you.
that A. And now you're showing me texts from April 6th. By April 6th, you were out, right?
That's the day I left. I came back to get my things.
I will give you money for your car service, $140. You then send him a text on April 26th saying, waiting to hear from you today regarding the $540 you promised to pay today. Thank you. Why is it $540?
It's really $560 because I actually gave him $1,400, right? Including the $200 personal loan. He gave me $600, which left $800. He did give me $240 in the train station one day. I don't have the date, which left $560. So I was wrong. I was off $20.
Okay, and
So-
then he responds, I will give you $540, comes to $1,140, which, how could it be any clearer that this is a forgery? When
A forgery
you're
on her
saying,
half, because I'm going to tell you
no,
why.
no,
I'm going to tell
how's
you
this
why.
a forgery on
Your
her
Honor,
half
listen
when
to
you
me.
gave it to me?
Your Honor,
I have you on April 6th after she's moved
Okay.
out saying that I will give you
Because
$540.
I'm gonna
That
tell
comes
you-
to
I'm gonna tell you
$1,140.
exactly what it is.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Do you always sign your name the same way?
Actually, no. Sometimes like the R's bigger, sometimes letters are all curvy looking, and so it's always different from the way I do it.
Fair enough. How about you?
No, sometimes it looks like my brother signed it for me.
Real? That's really interesting. What about you?
No, I don't.
So it's different every time?
Different every time.
I'm shocked. You don't have like a thing?
You know, there's little things that you always have, like in your signature, like the big part.
right. But it changes.
Yeah.
Interesting. Going inside the courtroom.
I got confused on the whole thing from the original thing. From the original
Oh, you forgot you
payment.
gave her $1,100?
Right, because she was like, look, I was just so upset what was going on. She had my head all in a frenzy. It was like, you know, having me like threatening me and the way she was dealing with this. I just wanted this lady to leave.
Okay.
Didn't even realize, okay, you go into something, she's really lying to the court. I paid this woman this money plus additional $240.
So I should just ignore your text where you acknowledge that you didn't pay her more than $600.
You know what happened? What happened was I didn't even realize between what was going on and her kept nagging me for more money for moving expenses. I just started writing things that I didn't even comprehend to what I was dealing with.
That's what I should do. I should just ignore it. And so I should look at this and I should say, well, basically, your defense is, who are you going to believe, Judge, me or your lying eyes?
Okay.
Because I'm looking at your text where you acknowledge that you basically are saying that this is a forgery, because in here
No,
you've got
it's a forgery
signature
from
that
her.
no, it's not. This didn't even come from her. You made this up
I
in
didn't
order
make
to
that up.
pretend that you paid $1,100, because I see the text after she moved out where you're specifically saying, okay, that'll take us to $1,140, which you wouldn't have said that if you'd already paid her $1,100. You would say that if you'd only paid her $600 by then. Okay?
I'll tell you where the 600 comes up.
I don't want to hear another word from you.
No, but you
because
have to
I
hear
wouldn't
it.
believe you if your tongue came notarized. Now, why are you suing for not just the $560 that you say you owed, but an additional $140 when the $560 already includes the $140? Doesn't it?
Does it? No.
No?
No.
All right, let me
It
see the
does
math.
not.
Oh, the $560 would be, so you don't want to pay for any time that you lived there.
Okay.
Why would that be fair?
No, I'm not. I figured that was going to come up, and I'm willing to pay the $150 for the week.
Why would it be $150
Because
for the
I'll
week?
tell
What were
you-
you paying, $600?
Yes, and I'll tell you how that came up. I was walking down the street and decided to go to small claims court, and the 700 as a round number came in, and I figured we would make that adjustment, and I'm good with that. I'm not trying to get anything he doesn't owe me at all.
So
I just want what he owes. And
$560 would be everything back.
$560.
No, stop. would be all of the rent back, plus 140 that I see in the text. He agrees if you get out to pay your moving expenses.
Right.
That's 700.
Right.
But you should have to pay something for the time you were there.
If we take away the 150.
Which is 1 week's rent, and then that would leave a
Excuse me?
remaining 550.
There you go. Yes.
You have a counterclaim against her for 600 for security deposit. What's that about?
All right. So I call up the local precinct, right? And I'm trying to find out exactly where I stand with somebody that doesn't return her keys, right? And she's moving out of the apartment. I have the stuff ready for her. I'm moving for her. And they said, legally, I didn't have to give her back her money because she broke whatever agreement we had. I didn't throw this woman out.
So you got your legal advice from the police precinct on a civil
legal like
matter?
that. They says this is how it should be because they said you're not throwing her out on the street, right? She's moving out on her own.
According to you, he told you your granddaughter can't be here, and you needed your granddaughter to be there. So
I understand about double occupancy. I didn't have a problem with that. I said she just came over to spend one night with me to help me.
okay,
My granddaughter's
let me just ask a question. Okay, let me just ask a question. All right, why are you counterclaiming for $600? You want back the $600 you paid her? Because you don't feel like you should have paid that.
You know, if anybody should be compensated.
Answer the question, because you just
yes,
realized how you
yes,
botched it.
yes,
Well, if you gave her
yes.
$1,100, why would you only sue for $600 back?
Because I'm just being
Liar.
nice. I'm being
Liar.
nice. No.
Pants on fire.
Oh, wow, you're doing it to me. Sorry.
I rule in favor of the plaintiff in this case in the amount of $550. Pay the lady. Zero on your counterclaim.
All right, so come on in here, and I'll just leave it open to you now to.
Liar, pants on fire.
Yeah.
No, she's
like
really
it's
lying.
like
and they
you
think
said-
I'm lying. It's not right. It's just the way.
How come you
it's
can't
all
get your
zigzag.
thoughts straight with the lady, and she got you all discombobulated? And
I'm really lucky to meet you.
all right,
That's all I
thanks a
got
lot.
to say.
Okay,
I really
thank you
am.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very
See
much. All right. Same here. All right, so step on in here. You got this guy all confused.
He's confused.
Yeah. How did you confuse him that much?
He's a confused person.
Yeah. Okay.
It has nothing to do with me. He's a confused person. He's a liar, and he's desperate. And that's what happens.
He's trying to just get what? Desperate for what?
For money, attention, whatever. I mean, like the judge saw straight through it, which I'm very happy about.
Well, why'd you move in there?
Well, I was just coming back to New York, and I needed a place, and so I rented one.
He was okay then.
Well, you don't know people until you get to live with them. Is that right? You heard about that?
Harvey?
Rarely does a judge absolutely bust a litigant and prove the litigant is a liar, but the judge did exactly that with the defendant. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.